Everybody, it's Rachel with the Rachel Hoffman Real Estate Group, and this is my what's going on in the real estate market slash steps to buying a home. Okay, so thank you for coming and listening to my little seminar that I'm going to give here. I just wanted to start out by letting you guys know, this market is a little bit crazy. I know everyone's a little scared with interest rates the way they are. So let's talk a little bit about what's really going on in the real estate market. So obviously Austin is an anomaly. I know the whole United States was crazy last year and the year before. But the fact is that Austin's not really, their real estate market isn't really driven by the economy as much as it is a supply and demand situation. I mean, we are just busting at the seams. I know if you live here, you know that already, right? So we have a supply and demand situation, right? Where we had not enough houses and too many buyers. Now we have more houses and not enough buyers. Everybody's a little bit nervous, right? So obviously Austin's employment rates are sky high. We're doing really well with all these new businesses coming to our beautiful city. So that is one reason why I feel like our market is going to be very resilient after this pandemic is completely over. So everybody's scared of interest rates, and there is an old saying in real estate: date the rate and marry the home. Rates change every day, you guys. I don't know anyone who has bought a house that has not refinanced at least once. Rates are changing every day. Take advantage of it. Once they get down and it's worth it for you, just go ahead and refinance it. If you need to buy a home, buy a home. Don't let this scare you, is basically my my advice for that. So we have so many large companies moving here, like we talked about, and these are just a few to speak of. I mean, obviously we have Tesla, we have all, Oracle, we have Google, TikTok. I mean, anything that you can imagine, we've got it here. We're like the new tech corridor or whatever. So when talking about real estate and going ahead and buying real estate, the first step is always to get pre-approved. Talk to a lender. I know people are out there going, oh, well, I'm sure I can buy. I don't have much debt. There's so many other little nuances within your credit and your debt to income that affect this thing. So your mortgage is definitely not like buying a car or opening up a credit card. So it's a lot more in depth. So even if you have decent credit, say you're at like a 680 and you get approved, your lender will most likely tell you, hey, if we can get your credit bumped up a few more points, we can get you an even better interest rate. So that's where my two partners here come in. Luke Leslie with Supreme Lending and Joe Camacho with the Phoenix Group. Joe Camacho is amazing as far as fixing people's credit. He is by far one of the most talked about credit repair people that I've ever known of in real estate. And Luke Leslie, I mean, Supreme Lending, hands down, really amazing company. They have a whole, what do you call it? A whole chapter that takes care of non-warrantable condos. See, as far as getting pre-approved, if you're looking for a condo, you don't know that whether it's warrantable or not warrantable. You may not understand what that means, and that's okay, because I do, your lender does. Those are two different loan products. So that's another reason why you should always just go ahead and get pre-approved ahead of time. Plus, just because you're approved for $500,000 doesn't mean you want to pay a $500,000 a month mortgage payment, right? So let's just find a number that's convenient for you, something that's comfortable, and that works all the way around. So obviously the first step is to get pre-approved, okay? Once you get your pre-approval letter, then we'll have a buyer consultation with a realtor. The realtor is going to discuss what your needs are and go over the whole buying process with you. And that way you can find out if you guys work well together. If you mesh, if you don't like the person, you don't have to work with them. But because it is going to be a pretty in-depth process. You're buying a home. It's a big deal. And you want somebody that you're going to feel like is on your side, okay? And that knows what they're talking about. So we're going to discuss what you're looking for in a home and what to expect to find in the market. Then we'll go over the buying process, and you can ask any questions that you have. And no question is a dumb question. I do this every day. You don't. So don't worry about asking questions. It's completely normal. I'd be scared if you didn't. So everybody knows in real estate, location, location, location. So what we'll do is discuss what areas of town work best for you, and we'll start looking there. I personally like to tend to leave my searches broad for my clients because you don't know what you don't know. Say you've never even heard of this neighborhood that's in this area you thought you would never want to live in. Let's go see it. You might love the vibe. There are pocket neighborhoods in every neighborhood, every part of Austin. So I tend to leave it a little broad, but of course I do whatever my client asks. If you're specifically looking for one part of town, that's the only part of town we're going to look at. Okay. But that's your third step on the buyer consult. So once you've gotten pre-approved and had your buyout consultation, that's when we go house hunting. We can set you up on the MLS where you'll be the first to know when a new listing hits the market. We put in your parameters, and that way it's like almost immediate. I think it's like a minute or two delay. You get the email saying that, hey, this new listing came up. You can also visit open houses on your own or bring your realtor. I love to go to open houses with my clients. It's a little less formal, I feel like. However, I just love showing houses, so it doesn't matter. I'll go anywhere. So then the showings work. You can either do, like I said, a private showing with myself or go to the open house with yourself or with me. So then we find a home and you're ready to make an offer. Okay, so what I do is I go through the market, make sure I know what the market value is for the home. Some sellers like to think their house is worth a certain amount, but you know what? When the buyer is getting a loan, the buyer has to get an appraisal. So as a realtor, I take appraisal courses, so I kind of learn a little bit about what they're going to look for and how they're going to price the property. Your lender will not loan you more money than what the appraiser says the house is worth. You would have to come out of pocket for that. So that's why we do an in-depth market analysis and find out how much the property is actually worth. Then we start doing some negotiating and stuff like that. But through the offer is going to be sent to you from me for electronic signatures. Super quick, super easy. Now, I do have clients who aren't very tech savvy, and I'm fine with hand signing property contracts. I'll come to your house, what have you. We make it easy. I mean, I'm old school. I used to drive around with a Mapsco book for directions. So, so there's several parts of the offer. It's actually very in-depth and very legal. It's a big contract, and there's a lot of addendums and amendments to be done. So when we start off at first, you're going to do the initial offer amount, your third-party financing addendum. If you're not paying cash and you're getting a loan, this is an addendum to the contract that states how much your loan's going to be for, what type of loan it is, if it's FHA, conventional, VA, what have you. And how many days you need to get approved. There's so much that goes into it, what your down payment is. This is all stuff that gets disclosed in the offer to the seller, okay? Then we have earnest money, which is basically like some skin in the game. If you back out of the contract for some reason that's not specifically stated that you're able to back out and get your earnest money, you actually lose that money. So that's why you need a realtor who's on top of things and knows the deadlines and knows when things are due, and so that you're not at risk of losing your earnest money for any willy-nilly reason. Option money, some people call it due diligence money. That's what we pay for. So you pay for a certain amount of time, and pretty standard in Austin's $100 for 7 days. That gives you 7 days to hem and haw, inspect it, get bids for work, and figure out if you still want to move forward with it. You can back out just because the wind blew the wrong way last Sunday, right? So that gives us the option to back out and let us do our due diligence on the property to find out if it's a good fit for you. So we also want to put a closing date on there of when you want to occupy the property and close. There's all kinds of other conditions, like if it's built before 1978, then you have a lead-based paint addendum. If it's in an area with an HOA, you need an HOA addendum. The seller should be submitting a seller's disclosure to you. This is a real in-depth form, basically talking about the condition of the property, any recent repairs, how old the roof is, things of that nature. You'll have to sign that as well. And then we send over our pre-approval letter as well. No seller is going to accept your offer if we don't see that you have actually been approved for that amount. That would just be a waste of everybody's time. So that is also why you need to get pre-approved as your first step. So initial offer amount, third-party financing, put your skin in the game, closing date, all the addendas and disclosures in your pre-approval letter. Once we make an offer, say they accept our first offer, which is amazing, then we are under contract. In Texas, you have 3 days to submit your earnest money and your option money. Okay. So once we're under contract, that's when we stop looking at other houses and we concentrate on getting this one inspected, getting our money in, and just discussing everything. The market for properties that are under contract, the listing agent is supposed to market that it's under contract, right? So that means nobody else is going to be looking at the house either, unless they're accepting backup offers. You don't really see too many of them, but we do see them. So say you like a house and it's already under contract, let me put in a backup offer for you. You never know. If it's the one, karma might come back in good standing with you and you get the house that you want. Then after that, we do the inspections. So a property inspector is actually not licensed in one thing, right? They're not like a licensed plumber or an electrician or a roofer or a foundation. They basically just go in and tell you what works, what doesn't work, and if the items in the house are up to today's building standard. Well, if you're looking at a house from the 70s, there's going to be a lot of things in there that are not up to today's building standards, right? And the property inspector just isn't going to know the specifics. So I always suggest, let's get a roofer, a foundation guy, and an HVAC guy out there. Those are your big ticket items. You want to inspect those as well as the property. And we've got that week's time to do so. Now, that week can be longer, it can be shorter. It all depends on what kind of offer we want to submit. But it is the time frame in which you can get your inspections done and get bids for work. Because after that, we're going to negotiate. Inspection negotiations. Like I said, we're going to get contractor estimates for repairs. We can negotiate the seller to give us money off our closing costs. We can get the seller to take money off of the sales price. There's so many different ways that you can do it. You can ask them to fix it and just take it off your plate all the way altogether. So after we do those negotiations and everything and everybody's happy and it's a win-win situation, that's the end of our option period. Now you are extremely under contract. There's a way. Okay, extremely under contract. That's a new one. So that's when it kind of gets slow from there on out. You just want to stay in communication with your lender. The appraisal will be ordered. That is some money up front that you have to pay out of pocket. No one really talks about. We've already got our earnest money, option money, and inspection monies, right? Then you also get your appraisal ordered. That gets ordered by the lender. So it's not something that the realtor handles, but it is something I like to tell you, you're going to have to pay that. And it depends, it's going to be around $400 to $500. You want to make sure that you've got your homeowner's insurance in place during that option period as well, because what if the roof is not insurable? What do you want to do? Negotiate for them to put a new roof, right? So we want to make sure that that stuff is all handled during the option period. Then you'll finalize your lender requirements. They're going to ask you for pay stubs. They're going to ask you for bank statements, W-2s, tax returns, transcripts. I mean, they are going to ask you literally for your firstborn. Just give it to them. Okay. It's like document after document after document, but it's a necessary evil. So once we have the loan all set up and we get what's called clear to close, you want to make sure to set up your utilities and your closing date, your utilities for your closing date. Schedule your movers. Guys, don't schedule your movers for the same day of closing. It doesn't ever work out. Do it the next day or what have you, because you never know. If we close after 3 p.m. on Friday, the wire transfer doesn't get in time and we haven't done what's called funding and no one's allowed to release keys to you. So you've got to wait the whole weekend until Monday to get your keys. So if you've scheduled movers for Saturday, that's going to be a problem, right? Okay. So you get your closing disclosures about 3 days before closing, and that is just the rules. That changed a while back, but you have 3 days prior to closing to sign those disclosures. And basically, it's going to be what we call a settlement statement or a HUD-1. It outlines every single dollar and where it's going through this transaction and how much cash you need to bring to the table to close. Of course, don't bring a satchel of cash. You're going to want to wire your money or get a cashier's check. That'll make the closing go quickly. So on our closing day, we're going to do a final walkthrough to make sure the roof didn't fall in or anything like that while we were just getting our loan finalized. Then we go to the title company and sign all the documents. And once they fund, you get your keys. After closing, your realtor is going to maintain a lifelong friendship with you, or they should want to. So if you need any help with any real estate needs, you should always reach out to your realtor. We can help you file your homestead exemptions. We can guide you through fighting your property taxes. We can help you find trusted vendors for your maintenance, and we can help you with refinancing. If you're thinking about refinancing, you want to know what your current market value is. So that's something that realtors can do. We like to stay in touch and stay top of mind. So if you know of anybody looking to buy or sell, that you'll think of us. So if you have any questions about the home buying process, please feel free to DM me, email me, call me, text me. I love answering questions about real estate. So we can sign up for a one-on-one Zoom consultation or in person. Let's go get some coffee. Now I've got there's 4 of us on the team. It's me. Let me introduce you to them right now. So it's me, Janet, Cody, and Maria. Okay, we're a very well-rounded team. Here's my little bio. Seeing I've been here over 19 years in real estate in Austin. Here's Janet. She's about 3 years in real estate. And we got Cody. I think he's like 4 or 5. And Maria, I think, is on her 2nd year. So Maria likes, doesn't like, but she speaks Spanish. So she could help any of your clients that don't speak English, or any client that doesn't speak English that speaks Spanish. She can definitely help with that. Cody likes Buda, Kyle area. Janet's like Southwest Austin, and she also does design, interior design. She can give you ideas on what to do to your home before you list it that will get you top dollar. We just have a well-rounded team. So anything y'all need, just reach out. My contact information is Rachel at buyfromrachel.com, RACHEL at BUYFROM Rachel.com. You can text me at 512-825-7043, or you can just find me on social media, Rachel Hoffman Real Estate Group, and DM me there. Thanks for listening, guys.